Good rejoicing, beautiful creators. Welcome. Thanks for your time once again. Now today I just want to have a quick chat with you guys about exercise. As you've probably seen, I have a few videos on my channel of myself doing some things on the parallel bars and the chin-up bars, or as it's formerly called, exercising, working out. And I do that just because I really enjoy it, and it's really important to look after this vehicle that we navigate the world in. We all have to look after this vehicle or instrument that we get given to navigate this world. And like any vehicle or instrument, it's a hell of a lot easier to take care of it and maintain than it is to drive it into the ground and get it completely overhauled. And I share those videos with you to try and encourage and inspire others, to get out there and get active and give these things a go. Man, I'm no spring chicken. I'm 40 years old. Well, next week anyway, So if people can see someone out there doing those things at my age, well, I want them to know that anyone else can do it too, I'm no different from anyone else, I'm just a bloke trying to have a good time, trying to stay fit and make the most of this life, Now, some of you already know what this channel's about. I'm a words man. They are my thing, one of my favorite things. So I'm quickly going to break down and give you a bit of a deeper understanding, deeper understanding about the word exercise. Now, why is it called exercise? And what are the origins of that word and how did it come about? Well, before gyms were even around and health benefits of exercise were even known, there was another virtually identical word, phonetically nearly identical, which was the word exorcise. And what does that word exorcise mean? And how does it relate to the word exercise? Well, you see, back in the day, and actually it probably still happens now, who knows, but if someone was said to be possessed by a demon or an evil spirit, you would get on the phone, call up your local priest or pastor or bishop or whoever, and explain to them that your friend or family member wasn't acting like they normally would, and you think they might be possessed, and then he would then come over and try and exorcise that demon or evil spirit out of that person. And what is a demon? What's a demon? Well, let's just call it a negative entity, a negative entity or a negative presence or force that has attached itself to someone. Now, what would usually happen is the priest would come over, set up, and start his ritual to exorcise this demon out of this person. And during that process of expelling this demon, the demon would let its presence known, and sometimes it might even manifest itself physically through the person who was possessed. And the person who was possessed and the priest or the pastor, whoever it is, would likely come face to face with this demon he was exorcising. Now, a similar thing also occurs when we exercise, you see. When we exercise, we are expelling our demon out of us. This demon of ours will make its presence known to us too. It may not physically manifest through us like it would a possessed person, but we would also come face to face with this demon when we are exercising. And what is this demon? Well, it's a negative force or presence as well. Our inner demon. It's our own negativity and our own negative emotions. It's or the laziness, the gluttony, or the self-doubt, or our excuses, the procrastination, all our inner fears, all the negative parts of us that keep us comfortable. And how do you know you'll come face to face with it? Well, I'm sure it'll let its presence known. I'm sure it will let its presence known before you even start your workout. It's that voice in your head telling you to sit down, relax. You've had a big day. You can do it tomorrow. Or go to the gym later. You'll have time. You know the voice I'm talking about. The voice that is telling you to conserve your energy. You got a big day tomorrow. The one that's telling you that you've done enough. You don't need to do anymore. You don't need to do that extra set, It's that voice telling you that you're too tired and makes you want to quit. And that voice wants to get louder and louder the closer you get to workout time. And it also may continue for a bit when you start, But the more you get into it, the more you push yourself, And the deeper you dig and the harder you train, the quieter it gets. It's nearly an eerie silence. It's a peaceful feeling because it stopped. And why did it stop? Because you were exercising it. Exercising it out of you, so to speak. Just like a priest would do. And just like a priest who will conduct a ritual to perform his exercise, we are also participating in a ritual when we are performing our exercise. And that ritual might be 50 pull-ups, 50 push-ups, 50 squats. Or it could be chest day. And your ritual might be push-ups, flat bench, incline flies. Or it could be leg day. You might be doing squats, leg extensions and deadlifts. Or you might like to run for exercise. You might be a runner. So you hit it out there, hit the pavement, going for a run. Or you might be a cyclist, so you jump on your bike, hit the road. Or a swimmer, so you go jump in the pool and start to swim. Whatever it is you like to do for exercise. Whether that be weights, CrossFit, boxing, mixed martial arts, dancing, tennis, squash, whatever. Whatever you like to do to break into a good sweat, that is your ritual. Your routine is your ritual. Now, all you need is a little bit of magic. Some hocus pocus. Or should I say, focus. What is hocus pocus? What is hocus pocus? What's the definition of that? Well, it's in reference to the actions of a magician when concentrating to perform a trick. The stereotypical words spoken by a magician about bringing some kind of change. Now let's break that word down even further. You take the first letter of each word, H from hocus, P from pocus, and you put them together. You're left with a P and a H in the word ocus. And what sound does P and H create when they're together? Focus. Hocus pocus is focus. It's right there in the word. Words tell you everything. It's the words a magician says when he is concentrating on performing his trick. Hocus pocus. It's his focus to make his magic work. Now let's look at other words we use instead of exercise. We also call it a workout. And personally, man, I'm not a fan of that word at all. I've spoken before how words are spells. That's why it's called spelling. That's why we spell words. And the words work out just seem exhausting already. You know what I mean? You've got the word work. And, well, not many people like going to work, not many people like doing that, and out. Well, that feels like it's draining energy out of me already. So why is it called a workout? We don't call it a workout because we're working outside. Most gyms are indoors. Most people go to train indoors. Well, then it could be because that we are out working, as in outworking our opponents or competition. Or what is the opposite of out? In. Well, it can't be work in. That makes no sense at all. You see, I think it's one of those words that are flipped and reversed on us. To energetically drain us, because that's what spells do. You see, what we are really doing is in work, not work out, but in work, or inner work. Doing the inner work and coming face to face with this demon so we can work him out of us. Or at least have him working for us. Not against us. You feel me? Now, does any of you know what the definition of an exorciser is? Hands up. Anyone? Well, an exorciser is what you would call someone who is performing an exorcism. They are an exorciser. Now, that is nearly an identical word as what you would call someone performing physical exercise. They are an exorciser. Now, because they are the ones driving out this negative force out of themselves. They're basically performing their own exorcism, so to speak. Now this next concept I want you to grasp is important. So I need you to make sure you understand this. Well, I mean, understand what I'm about to say, you see. Now, not many people really know this, or they've really not given it too much thought, Now, in my early videos, I've spoken about how the heart's electromagnetic field and about how our emotion, our energy in motion, affects the vibration of our heart's energy field. And this radiates out into the collective energy field of this planet. Now this vibration goes out in the world, and you align with all those things that you are a vibrational match for. And what you attract those things into your life, and you draw them into your life, whether it be people, places, situations, experiences, and some of those things are positive and some are negative. It all depends on what thoughts and feelings you're putting out there as to what you're attracting or what you're repelling. Now the reason for all of this is because whether you know it or not, and most people don't realize this, but everything we think, everything we say, and everything we do carries a charge, like an electrical charge. And remember what science tells us, like attracts like. Remember? Like attracts like. And this charge, is going out there, be it positive or negative, and drawing all those things. And if we're exercising and holding on or feeding negative thoughts or this demon, what we're really doing is amplifying that charge. It becomes amplified or increases in strength just from that extra amount of exertion we are pouring into it, all that extra energy. And we amplify that charge of that negative thought, and it will get more powerful. And remember, what I always say, all energies must return to source. Now, some of you might have been completely unaware that you've been doing this, and just hearing this now might trigger some of you. Some of you may be thinking like, what does he know? Some of the best workouts I ever had was after a fight with my girlfriend. I was so angry and I just got it all out of me, and man, don't get me wrong, I've done that before. I've done that myself without even realizing it, But what I'm saying is that instead of thinking negatively on stuff like, stuff her, I'm over it, or whatever the demon is saying to you, I want you to just be more aware that you're face to face with a demon right now. You need to focus. We're going in a battle. It sort of reminds me of all those stories we get told as a child, of the knight in shining armor, King Arthur or Lancelot or whatever his name was, or whoever it was, and to save the village and to rescue the princess, and they first have to slay the dragon. We got to slay our own dragon, and you can't defeat that dragon if you're thinking about something else. If you're thinking about things like stuff that or whatever it is, you know what I mean? I've had enough, it's it, I'm done, whatever. And that takes away your concentration. You have to focus. And I'm only saying this because I don't want you to end up cursing yourself further in the future by amplifying this negativity and bringing more negativity into your life. So please be aware of your thoughts and emotions when you're exercising. Try and hold on to grateful thoughts. Think about how blessed you are, how lucky you are to be alive, and for the opportunity to expel these demons that are inside you. Try and think of thoughts that will bless you. In the future, try and, amplify those things. And man, if you're not in the mood, or that's just too difficult, just focus on your breathing. Use it as a form of high intensity meditation. Because meditation is just simply hocus pocus. Focusing on your breath. And to be honest, you shouldn't just monitor your thoughts when exercising. You should try to be doing that continuously on a daily basis. Because just as we don't tell our lungs, we don't consciously tell them to breathe, we breathe, you know what I mean? We don't consciously tell our mind to think, but it does, because that's what it's designed to do. And we should all be keeping guard on what we let into our temple. You know what I mean? In the Bible, it says, the God who made the world and all things in it, since he is Lord of heaven and earth, does not dwell in temples made with hands. Let me just say that again. Does not dwell in temples made with hands. Now, where's the only temples in the world not made with hands? Put your fingers both sides of your head. That's where the temples are located. In between those temples is where God dwells. They're the only temples in the world not made with hands. Let me say it again. They are the only temples in the world not made with hands. So make sure you're standing guard at the temple that is your mind. You can't let demons in there. And if you do, you better exercise them out. See what I'm saying? It's making sense? Now, man, I just want to tell you about a story when I was in my late 20s. You know, I was around 27, 28 at the time, and I got given this book and I started reading it, and it was called The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. Some of you might have heard of it. And it's a great book. I recommend it to everyone. You know, it totally changed my life, you know. And while I was reading that book, that was the first time in my whole life I had ever heard about our egoic mind, or our ego. You know, that voice in our head that talks to us 24 hours a day. And the concept that it was not me. You know, it was a part of me, but it wasn't who I really was. You know, I was not the thinker. You know, that the thoughts generated from my mind, because that's what our mind was designed to do, to think. And I was like, back then I was reading it and I was like, what the hell? I was like, of course I'm the thinker. What is that guy on about? And I think somewhere around that part of the book it says something like, man, if you don't believe me, shut the book, put the book down and sit there and don't think. And being the stubborn, naive man I was back then, I was like, too easy. I'll show this guy, you know. And I closed the book and I just sat there. And boom, a thought popped into my head. And I was like, oh, what the... You know what I mean? Like, I did not think that. I did not think that. I didn't do that. I was trying not to think. And boom, a thought popped into my head. And that blew my mind, you know. That was a pivotal moment in my development of trying to understand who I was, you know, and trying to improve myself. And I remember thinking, like, why am I 28 years old and hearing this for the first time? Why hadn't anyone told me this? Why am I only hearing about this now? You know, and what else about my mind don't I know? And that I probably should understand and I probably should learn. You know, I learned that I'm not my thoughts, but I'm the awareness that can observe my thoughts. And that was massive for me. So after that, I started to put a bit more time and effort into what I was learning and become more aware of what was going on in my mind, in my temples. And I spent a lot more time just trying to observe my thoughts, you know, just trying to let them come and go without creating any attachment to them. And of course, at the time, I remember I was always like to train. It's just been one of my things, you know. And I used to notice that when I was getting ready to start a workout or go and train, you know, or should I say, to do my in-work, not my workout, doing my in-work, my thoughts were saying things like, relax, wait a little bit longer, or you can have the day off, or whatever, you know what I mean? And I was like, wow, man, this voice doesn't even have my best interests at heart, you know? He doesn't have my interests at heart. He's telling me to relax. Why should I listen to that voice? You know, I can't have that demon steering the ship, you know? I know this voice is a part of me. It's a part of everyone. It's our ego, or our egoic mind, you know, and it just wants to keep us safe and out of danger so that we live longer, you know. But the more I observe my thoughts, the more I realize I can't always listen to that voice, because it's self-sabotaging me. It's sabotaging me. So right then I knew I better do something about it, you know. I better do the inner work to make him work for me, or at the very least work with me, you know. And I tried lots of methods, you know. Having cold showers is one. You know, that was a wild experience. My mind at the start would be screaming at me, don't be stupid. You know, turn that hot water on, you're going to freeze. And I would have to think, please, keep down. I'm steering this ship. I'm in charge here. And just man up and jump under the cold water. And, you know, and that first week was terrible. You know, that battle with my mind was a fierce one. But as I went on, it became easier. You know, until after a while, I didn't even think twice about it. I just jump in and jump up. It was normal, you know. And at the beginning, it wasn't the most pleasurable thing I've done. But it definitely helped me, you know. But what helped me the most, I found, with regards to keeping guard on my temple, was, and the quickest way to train that demon to work for me, was to look at my thoughts as in a different way. I started to look at my thoughts as either a curse or a blessing. Is this thought going to help me or hinder me? Is it going to curse me or bless me? You know, is it aligned with my desires or against them? You know, if it was a negative thought, I would just simply say, in my mind, I reject that thought. You know, if it come back, I'd reject it again. You know, if it continued, I would sometimes even have to say out loud, I reject that thought. You know, and that had more presence, more power. You know, and that would stop it. And after a while, my mind realized, okay, he doesn't like that thought. let's try another one, and throw another one at you. And if it was negative, you'd reject it again. You know what I mean? But if it was better, more constructive, and you accept it, I accept that thought. And after a while, my mind would realize, okay, he's not rejecting these ones, so he must like these kinds of thoughts. Let's send more of those. And another really helpful method was to give my mind something to work out, something to figure out. Since it wants to think, that's what it does. I was going to give it something to think, something to work out, because that's what it's designed to do. I'd give it little tasks to do. And that's when I started to try and teach myself how to play the ukulele and the harmonica. And I just figured if I do a little bit every day, after a while my mind would realize, man, this stubborn dude ain't going to give up. Let's just help him. Let's help him learn this, But sit there, trying to talk him out of it, but it's not working, So it started to work for me, not against me. And I also found myself developing a daily meditation practice. That helped dramatically too. And even sometimes now it takes me a good 10-15 minutes before my mind calms down. And every time it wanders, I just bring back the attention back to my breath, and focus on my breath. And exercise also played a big part in me conquering that voice as well. Now, not only is exercise good for us, but we should also pay attention to our diets. They go hand in hand. Now, did anyone ever notice or find it a little strange that the word diet also has the word die in it? That alone should tell you how important it is. You see, words will tell you everything. We need a good diet or we will die. And that's because the foods that we consume are more than just fuel for our body. If you really think about it, the food we eat goes inside us, disappears, and it becomes us. We are literally the food we eat. Now, is the food you're consuming, does that have enough vitamins and nutritional value to make a finger, an eyeball? Because that's what it becomes. Our food replenishes us, rejuvenates us, as well as refuels us. And you can't put cheap fuel like diesel, for example, in a Formula One car. It will terribly affect the performance, and over time it will destroy it. It will die. And just as we have high vibrational words and high vibrational feelings, we also have high vibrational foods. For example, fruit and vegetables in their rawest form, uncooked, they're going to be vibrating at a higher rate than, say, something out of a packet. Like eating an apple or a punnet of blueberries compared to eating a bag of chips or even a muesli bar, because that food is broken down and processed, and it lowers its vibration. And now it becomes less beneficial, And if you start to look at food in that way, you'll soon realize what the hell is half the stuff in this supermarket they're trying to sell us. I mean, if there's a health food section in the supermarket, then what is all the other stuff they're selling us? Unhealth food? No wonder obesity is an epidemic in this day and age. We need to eat more high vibrational stuff, because we're vibrational beings, And I'm sure most of the food out there is stuff we shouldn't be consuming. And our diet isn't just what we consume physically. It's what we consume visually, audibly, and verbally as well. All the things we hear and watch and say is also part of our diet. So we've got to make sure we are consuming a healthy diet in all aspects, not just what you're eating, but what you're watching, what you're listening to. It's all part of our diet. And that should be high vibrational as well. You'll notice that the television, especially the news, serves up nothing but low vibrational garbage to us every single night. No wonder we get sick. The first thing they say in the news is good evening, and then spend the next hour telling us why it's not. So please be aware. High vibrational, we want to be having high vibrational thoughts, we want to be hearing good stuff, not negative stuff. Now, one last thing I want to wrap this all up with is another word we use for exercise and workout is training. Why would we call it training or to train? Well, the word train comes from the French word trahir, which means to pull or draw. So when we train, we are pulling or drawing this negativity or this negative force, this demon out of us. Now, I hope that all makes sense somehow to you. It gives you a deeper understanding of all these words and how they came about and why they're called and you know, also the effects they can have on us. You know, and if you enjoyed my message today, don't forget, like, share, subscribe. Thanks for your time. You know, and remember, know love, show love, grow love. I'm out here. Peace.